After hearing these two interesting papers and presentations, I thought, what should we try to extract out of these two papers? And I decided, let's disaggregate a little bit more, and let's go into a specific case. So, as we are trying to learn mutually, so I picked up a story. How did it work in our case in Brazil? So, as the studies were really aggregated, and we already have heard in the morning, if you aggregate too much, you lose detail, of course. And I tried, and as we have this heterogeneity, so I want to be more specific and to see how it was in our case in Brazil. And I will focus mainly on the contribution of R&D for agricultural development as part of the strategy of to develop agriculture. Why to focus on R&D? First, it's important to say, if we want to reduce hunger, food security is the main issue related to it. And we have the 4 dimensions of food security. We need to have food available. People need to have access to it. They have to utilize it. And of course, food has to be stable. And we think that R&D can directly contribute at least to some of those dimensions. So it's not, let's say, the only solution, but it can, for sure, contribute to it. In the case of Brazil, before the 70s, we had a situation where agriculture was characterized by low production and, of course, quite low yields. The production was mainly concentrated in the southern and southeastern part of Brazil. There was almost no agriculture in the other parts. We experienced a food supply crisis at that time. We had, of course, a lot of rural poverty, and there was a lack of specific knowledge related to tropical agriculture, because the main part of the country is between the tropics. And of course, these institutions we had at that time, they were, let's say, not really working the way they should work. This included agricultural research at that time, the education, the markets, the media, the government agencies in general. So the task was, at that time, how to move from a traditional agriculture with low yields, low productivity, into an agriculture based on science and technology. This was the main task. So there was, in the 70s, the creation of our institution and also some other state-level institutions working on R&D. We have about 8,500 employees and 2,200 scientists, and mainly of them are on a PhD. This is our network of centers. We are located in almost all the country. Some states, they still don't have a research center in there, but they are being created. So we have 3 new centers being created now. And training of the researchers is essential for us. So people have to be trained and well trained. So we always look for the best universities in different fields for the researchers. There are some important achievements that we got in the last 3 decades related, for instance, to plants, the adaptation of the soybean plant to tropical regions where it was not possible to grow soybeans before due to photoperiodism. This was it's not a problem anymore. Then also the adaptation of fruits, tropical and adapted temperate fruits. Of course, the adaptation and improved cattle, mainly cattle. These races breeds from India. but also the production of fibers and wood, the nitrogen fixation, very important, biological control of diseases and pests, no tillages practices, and of course the last aspect you all know. Some examples, how did it increase? Just look into the last, let's say, 14, 15 years. We have increases of 200%, for instance, in chicken meat production. If you look to the production, the harvested area, the harvested area increased, of course, but just 1.3% per year, while the production as in total increased 5.5%, so due to yield increases. This is not that important. And more recently, thank you. More recently, we are being challenged to exchange more and more our experience and also learn from other tropical countries, mainly from Africa, but also from some Asian countries and, of course, Latin American countries. So we are being challenged to learn from there and also to share our experiences with them. And, of course, we have the connection with, let's say, the more or less developed world. We have these virtual laboratories in the US, together with ARS, in Europe, together with Agropolis, more recently also one in South Korea. And we have technology transfer offices. First one was in Africa, and now we have two additional ones, one in Venezuela and one in Panama. And for sure, they are not the last ones. What was key for us in the Brazilian case? As we are a public research enterprise, we had this operational scale at the country level. We are specially decentralized. Of course, a lot of staff training. The research units or research centers are specialized in specific crops or animals. The remuneration policy is, of course, key for the people, and also the vision to have a science and technology-based agriculture. This is crucial. The efforts were always focusing on obtaining usable results. We need usable results at the production level. And of course, international collaboration from the beginning was crucial with the CG system, but also bilateral collaborations. And I think compared to many other institutes, as we were politically really independent, this was also crucial for us, just to sustain from government to government. Because if you are not independent enough, sometimes it can be a problem. What are the main challenges that we still face? Well, first, to be able to produce food for the country and for domestic consumption, but and also for export. The whole bioenergy discussion. We recently created a research center focusing on agri-energy. Then, of course, the challenge to use the altered areas in a sustainable way. Let's say to create cultivars that are tolerant to drought and disease, pests, and so on, that may arise due to climate change and so on. Then the integration of crop and livestock, where we see tremendous increase in productivity and yields, what we can earn due to this integration. Also, the North-South cooperation. We have now the more recent experience with Embrapa Africa, our office in Ghana. Then the issue of public-private partnerships. We face a situation that mainly in the technology transfer part, that in the Brazilian case, in most of the states, we have no public extension services anymore. Not like in the 70s and the beginning, at the Green Revolution type, we have this strong agriculture extension services. So these services are not there anymore. Or there are some worries related to if the extension is going to be organized private, what happens? What does this mean? usually, in our case, mainly many farmers, they don't have access to public extension. They only have access to let's say, the sales representatives of the input companies. So, and then we can imagine what may happen afterwards. So that's the main idea that I want to share with you, and I'm open for also suggestions. And yeah, thank you for the invitation.